talking about the election results from November 2nd, 2021. And, well, you win some and you lose some. Overall, we came out and did our thing. Although I wish more of us had come out and done our thing. But it is what it is. It be what it be. We're going to make it do what it do. But here's a little bit more of
if you're in Flatbush in the Korean community, if you're in Sunset Park in the Chinese community, if you're in Rockaway, if you're out in Queens in the Dominican community, Washington Heights, all of you have that power to fuel us. We are so divided right now, and we're missing the beauty of our diversity. We have to end all of this division of who we are, where we go to worship, what do we wear. No, today we take off the intramural jersey and we put on one jersey, Team New York. So New York City, brothers and sisters, and I just need to pause for a moment because it's so important for me to do this. 5 people I must acknowledge, and I'm going to acknowledge all of you within time, but there's 5 people I must acknowledge. First is my sister, Ingrid Martin. Where's Ingrid?
Eric Adams there, giving a victory speech. Kristen, we were talking about that earlier. I do think he is going to be a more and more familiar name to people nationally, not just because he's the mayor of New York City, of course, means cameos in your favorite New York City-based TV shows, right?
Right.
But I think he must be a player in national politics.
I think he might be, and he is one of the people who's shaping the debate around policing, which is one of the issues that we've been talking about, that we've been thinking about. And this is someone who's a former police captain who has said that he wants to give more resources to the police department there in New York. And so I think he's one to watch. There you heard him talk about the fact that we are so divided, really making the point that he wants to be a mayor who helps to bring that city together against the backdrop of a lot of divisions, Chuck, not just in New York, but all across the country.
I watch Eric Adams here, and the one potential star candidate I think Democrats have so far for the 2022 cycle is Val Demings, also a former police officer.
Interesting point.
African-American woman who I think can talk about this crime issue with some interesting credibility in a way that Eric Adams did and was able to have sort of change the conversation. It's just something to think about.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Jimmy, thank you so much for being here with us. I guess I'll give you the first comment on the surprise in New Jersey as we still await the final results. What do you make of it?
Well, I think Democrats are likely to say, well, it was local issues and Republicans ran a very good candidate and there should be no larger implications taken from this issue about what's going on with the Democratic Party. But I think they face a couple of big problems. One, looking at those Virginia results, and indeed there were local issues there, but there are always local issues. And looking at those results in New Jersey, Democrats are facing a very, maybe historically bad midterm election a year from now, which leads to another problem. If they don't want that election to be quite so bad, one, they need to get their act together and get these 2 bills passed. And if I was a Democrat, I would be concerned that rather than take the lesson that maybe voters aren't looking for radical change and get these bills passed, that some progressives will say, listen, we really need to dig in. We're not going to get another bite at this apple and push hard and both these bills collapse. I think that is not an impossible possibility to happen. So I think Democrats have a lot of questions they need to answer tonight or this morning, and they need to do some self-reflection.
What do you make, Jimmy? I know you said, of course, there were some local issues at play, as there always are, right, in an election that is local. But are there things that were, yes, local issues, but also issues like taxes? I know that's a big deal here in New Jersey that some residents were taking issue with that then does have a bleed-over effect into what's going on in the Senate and with the House of Representatives with this big bill that President Biden is trying to get through.
Given what Joe Manchin has said very recently, Democrats need to do one of two things with these bills. One, they need to shrink them further, or they need to raise taxes more to pay for them. And I didn't see anything in these results in Virginia or New Jersey saying that Americans want even more taxes than what Democrats have already proposed, which leads me to believe if Democrats want those bills to pass, they're going to have to get smaller. Joe Manchin said he's not going to fall for any of these gimmicks, which means they're probably going to have to cut more programs out of those bills. Again, it doesn't seem to me like Americans are saying, oh, we want a dramatically larger tax burden, given the results we saw last night.
Yeah, I mean, living here in this area, a lot of the commercials, it seemed, were really focusing on Governor Phil Murphy's view on taxes and sort of taking one of his sound bites from an event. Of course, these are opposition commercials saying, look, if you don't like high taxes, maybe New Jersey isn't the place for you. It just seemed like a message that was hammered home again and again. And Silvana was just talking about the possibility of removing this SALT cap limit, the $10,000 limit on some of these states. I mean, is that really in play as we talk about taxes here?
I think it's a lot more in play now than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
They need, Democrats, they cannot lose, and that's what we saw in Virginia. They did much worse in the suburbs. They cannot lose those suburbs. They will get just swamped a year from now. So I think that repealing that cap, which is a really huge money loser, and is a big tax cut for other upper income and wealthier Americans, which has not been the Democratic message for the past year. So I think you face a problem on what to do about these bills, and more fundamentally, what is going to be the central Democratic message going forward if what they end up doing is giving tax cuts now to upper income Americans. This was supposed to be the inequality party. That doesn't seem like that's playing so well right now.